Hey Lakers fans, tell me if this doesn't feel different. Something just shifted in El Segundo, and it's not the obvious headline everyone's arguing about. It's quieter, deeper, and it points to one decision that could shape this whole season before we even get to Halloween. You can feel it in the way the staff is talking about roles, in how the drills are sequenced, in which sets show up early and which ones are tucked away. It's not drama. It's direction. Here's the promise. I'm going to unpack how the front office used timing and structure to keep the runway clear. Why the first 20 games are about identity more than highlights. And the single domino one that explains the rotations you're going to see. I won't drop the name yet. Stay with me, because the payoff is in how all these small choices line up into one big message. Quick pit stop. This is Lakers News Fan Report. If you live this team the way we do, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and toss a like so this reaches every Laker in the timeline. We break it down like a locker room conversation, film, cap, vibes, all of it. Back in. Training camp energy tells you more than press conferences ever will. When a staff starts with shell defense before any fluff, when spacing rules get drilled before plays, when the talk is paint first, paint last, that's a statement. It's the kind of statement that says we're not chasing cute. We're hunting wins built on stops, boards, and shots you can live with. And the rotations in those early scrimmages, who shares the floor with whom, who screens for whom, are the BREADCRUMBS. Fans are loud right now, 100-side stories, who sat out a drill, who looked winded on a string, who posted what at midnight. That noise is fun in September. It doesn't win you anything in May. The stuff that wins is boring on paper and brutal to maintain. Help at the nail. Second effort on tags, trust on the kickout. And 5 guys seeing the same picture at the same time. The roster is built to lean into that. 2-guard ball handling to keep tempo stable. A glue wing who can screen and slip. Shooter gravity to stretch the weak side help so the lane doesn't feel like rush hour. And yep, an emphasis on the big in the middle not just as a target, but as the center of gravity. The more you watch, the more you realize the offense is being drawn from the inside out, not the other way around .cap-wise. You can see the logic too. Flexible deals that don't choke future summers. Decision points set at smart dates. Contracts that can slide if you need to open a lane at the deadline. That's not theoretical. It changes who you can call and what you can ask for when the market blinks. The point is simple. Stay light on your feet, so when the right door opens, you fit through it. And the scheme? Picture it. Elbow touches early, quick splits, empty corner pick and rolls to put weak side help in a bind. Defensively, a base that starts with strong side discipline, then layers and switches you earn, not switches you panic into. You don't build that overnight. You build it around someone who can hold the center of the floor without getting swallowed by it. There's also the human piece. Leadership is not a press release. It's who talks in huddles when it's ugly, who everyone looks at when the other team goes on a 10-2 run, who drags the group from "we're fine" to "we're fixing it now." The staff is empowering a voice to be that person on both ends, steady, loud enough, never theatrical. You see it in clip sessions. You hear it in the way the assistants describe our foundation. Timeline matters. Opening night is a showcase. The first 20 games are a lab. That's where the habits harden. That's where you choose the coverages you can actually live in, not the ones that look good on a whiteboard. And that's where this one decision comes into full view. Because the minute the lights go up, the ball and the responsibility keep finding the same set of hands. All right, you've waited long enough. Here's the thing that explains all of it. The Lakers have, in effect, confirmed Anthony Davis as the center of the project, confirmed him as the hub, the heartbeat, the thing this season orbits around. Not with a parade or a slogan, but with decisions. Offensive structure that runs through his touch map. Defensive rules that trust him to set the ceiling. A rotation built to amplify what he does best. That's the confirmation. That's the message. What does confirm look like in real basketball? Offense first. AD at the 5 in the minutes that matter. 4-out spacing when it's time to hunt. Empty corners to give him clean angles. And quick high-low entries when defenses overplay the slot. He's not just a finisher. He's the hinge. Elbow catches to draw too. DHOs that force the on-ball defender to choose an ugly path. Short roll reads to the corner if the tag comes one step late. That's where this team becomes efficient. Instead of dramatic dot defense is the signature. Base drop with a wrinkle. Show high enough to bother. Recover fast enough to erase. When they switch, it's surgical, not a blanket. The guards can press up knowing the back line is a parachute, not a prayer. The wings can stunt and return because the rim is protected by a human shot filter who also finishes. The possession with 2 hands on the board. Opponents feel it in their legs in the third quarter. Their floaters are shorter. Their cuts are slower. Their spacing feels smaller. This confirmation also clarifies roles around him. Ball handlers have a rule. Hit the big early, then flow. Wings have a job. Screen with purpose. Flatten help, crash when he draws too. Shooters know their diet. Corner confidence. Above the break respect. And the second unit. Mirror the first. Keep the identity consistent so you're not playing 2 sports in one night. The ripple effects touch the stars too. Whenever the other big dog is managing a ramp up, confirm the D keeps the offense from leaning on isolation or fatigue. You can win a Tuesday with timing and spacing. You don't have to win it with miracles. When the schedule compresses, you can survive with second side actions and early seals instead of trying to fight gravity. There's a cap story inside this, even if we keep it simple. Building around a D truly around him means you preserve the flexibility to add the right pieces that complement that identity. It's not about chasing names that sell jerseys in January. It's about finding players who make that elbow hub sing in April. A guard who hits windows. A wing who screens like a big who plays like a wing in space but defends like a grown man. That's how you stretch a window without cracking the glass. And yeah, you factor in the risk. The whole league knows it. For this to be real, availability has to meet ambition. That's why the rotation will be smart with minutes. Why certain matchups will see early post seals instead of relentless high PNR miles. Why back-to-backs will be handled with adulthood. You're not conserving. You're investing tactically. Watch for 3 signatures that scream confirmed AD. 1. Horns into pistol, with a D setting the second action to force the low man to choose wrong. 2. Wedge screens into deep catches so help arrives a step late and the kickout is clean. 3. Spain variations where the back screen freezes the back line just enough for a lob or a corner 3. Those are not highlights. Those are habits. And on defense, listen for the call. Blue, when they want to ice a side PNR and keep the ball away from the middle. Red, when they're springing a late trap because the clock is their friend. Stay, when the switch is earned and not gifted. AD is the translator. He makes those calls real because teammates trust that whatever the scheme, the rim stays honest. Now, let's address the elephant. Confirmed Anthony Davis is not a new banner. It's direction. Could there be a formal piece of this down the road leadership designation? Language around the franchise core, future mechanisms that keep the build centered on him? Maybe. But the part that matters today is what the team is already doing on the floor. That's where confirmation lives. This is where the speculation enters. Is there a scenario where confirmation becomes even more literal, say, a future tweet that aligns years and dollars with the plan, or a formal handshake on the leadership arc that's already playing out? It's possible. The way the contracts are structured, the way the timeline breathes, the way the rotations look, those all point to an organization that wants its identity to wear number 3. That's the read. Could you build it any other way? Sure, you could try to be guard-driven and live in 5-out without a true hub. You could try to be wing-driven and ask the big to screen and sprint all night. But you'd be turning your back on the thing that separates this roster from a dozen very good ones, a 2-way 7-footer who can win a game by making the paint feel like a maze and the rim feel like a lid. If you have that, you use it. Let's talk playoffs for 20 seconds, because that's where this is aimed. The teams that matter will shrink space and punish sloppy reads. Confirmed AD gives you a pressure release. It makes a help defender pick between a dunk and a corner three. It turns your defensive possession into a sprint instead of a panic, because the first contest is real and the second one exists. That's how you bank ugly wins in a series. That's how you live to the next round. Could depth behind him be tested? Of course. That's why the front office left room for a move. Why they're kicking the tires on functional size that doesn't break your spacing. Why two-way slots exist for a reason. It's not glamorous, but it's the difference between a 6-game skid and a 3-game correction in February. Culture is the last piece. You can't confirm a player this way unless the locker room respects how he works. And they do. The conditioning standards, the talk on the floor, the accountability in film, none of that. Instagram content. It's gravity. When the best big in the room runs to the block with purpose and then sprints to the contest like his paycheck depends on it, everyone else runs too. So here's where we land. The Lakers didn't write a poem. They picked a path. And that path says, this season is about Anthony Davis being the center of everything touches, reads, coverage, trust. That's what the drills mean. That's what the rotations mean. That's what the cap choices mean. It's not a slogan. It's a blueprint. Now I want your take. Lake Show, do you buy the idea of confirmed AD as the smartest way to maximize this roster right now? Or would you rather see a co-anchor balance where the offense starts on the perimeter and the big feast on scraps? What matchups make you nervous with a D at the 5 for long stretches? And which matchups do you think he absolutely erases? Drop your thoughts, your ideal closing 5, and the one wrinkle you install tomorrow. My opinion? I'm in. When a D is the center of the plan, the team ceiling looks like June basketball. It's the honest path that matches who he is and what this roster can be at its best. But this is me reading tea leaves and practice film, not reading a press release. Call it what it is. Speculation, not confirmation.